two of them, and additionally about 3,200 damage between the two. So Zane doing just as much as the two other teammates combined, which is kind of wild, insane if you call it. But can VZN do it again? That will be the question here as we get geared up and ready as our teams are dropping into their POIs for match number 2.
Let's get started here. After VZN had a dominating game number 1, how is this going to fare for them going into game number 2, carrying that momentum? They split this drop in No Name for that beacon information as well as Overlook, so they're going to have a great amount of loot. They're also going to have that next circle information. Looking at a lot of our other squads, though, nothing to change up. Not surprised here. We still have Na'Vi and Echo landing in Climatizer, but not expecting there to be any sort of chaos unless Na'Vi really wants to fight for that beacon over to the right side of Climatizer. Maybe we could expect that early fight to go down depending on how Na'Vi wants to play that, unless they want to actually go in for a quick rotate as we get to see where this circle is going to be pulling. Very similar circle to the one we saw in the last game, but I'm not expecting this one to pull towards Fragment, rather expecting it maybe to pull way more towards the west side. As you can see, a lot of squads already taking up their own POIs, and it's going to be an easy rotation for our western teams.
Yeah, as I look at that, I'm just seeing Countdown Landslide. I'm like, this might be one of the areas that it could pull towards, but it looks like Corpa is going to be the team that takes the early exit here in match number 2, not Scars, and it appears to be at the hands of Nightmare Esports, looking to find themselves some more points on the day, currently sitting in 2nd place, and Seven and Limek already having the shield advantage, not only with the damage being done to level them up, but, you know, now they have the availability of a replicator as well, so they can get early gear and access to as many bats as their heart desires.
What did Nightmare Esports eat this morning? They're angry at the moment, okay? They've been absolutely trying to bully out the Lava Siphon team since game number 1. We saw them trying to fully send it onto Corpa, where they chased down one of the stragglers that they left one before calling it quits and just bullying them out of this POI and taking their loot instead. So Nightmare coming on top of this fight with some great loot. You can see the purple Evo shield in favor for 7. Denze still rocking the Volt and the Eva 8. They're about to get a nicely kitted G7 here, looking at 7 after looting this side of Lava Siphon. And like you mentioned, Beacon and the Replicator on top of it all. So Nightmare starting off very strongly already in this game number 2 after they just got 2nd place in game 1.
Look, they heard you. They were like, hey, we know this is the day. It's getting late. There's only like 3 more match days after this, and this is the 2nd time that B versus C. So they're like, we need to get inside that top 9. We want to make it to the Split 1 playoffs. We're going to make sure that we are going to the regional final. And hey, someone else that's looking to make that happen is going to be Reply Totem, currently sitting in 12th place, just 2 points away going in today from that top 9. And I had a chance to really watch a lot of their POV during scrims this week. And yeah, I get it. Scrims, not really the idealistic situation to really compare to ALGS day, and sometimes the day before ALGS scrims get a little bit hectic, so super fun to watch. But another team that needs to do really well is going to be Startify Esports on your screen right now, taking the jump tower just south of Thermal and hitting the road.
Yeah, already going in for these quick rotates. You can already see where that next circle is going to be pulling. And I love how you bring up Scrim sometimes. But you know what? It's about the flex and sending a message out here. And that's what a lot of these teams end up doing. As you can see a fight actually maybe going down. Start a fight, making a statement, putting down the Seer ult, letting this squad know that's trying to rotate outside of Thermal Station, which is probably Alliance because that's where they land. Letting them know that they are going to try to choke point them. They're going to sit in the choke point, rather try to hold them at the edge of the circle. But this is Alliance that we're talking about. And since they land in Thermal, they got a great loot and they already have the beacon control on the left side of Thermal Station.
Yeah, Alliance really looking like they want to take advantage of the situation and gonna fight. But you can see right now, Effect back on the horizon. No more Mad Maggie for them. So I'd be curious to hear the decision making behind that change. Maybe it just wasn't working out, and Horizon is a really good strong suit for Effect's fragging abilities. So I respect that out of them. But anytime I see a little bit of a charge rifle in the hands, I get excited. I think the crafter just changed, but that 4x8 was in the Replicator going into the startup today, and Bambino finding some nice shots there. You gotta level up that white shield somehow.
Gotta absolutely agree with you on there. And I actually think the Replicator changes in less than an hour, like 40 minutes or so now. So that 4x8 is still in the Replicator. The purple extended sniper mag is still there. And of course, our weekly rotations that don't change until Sunday is still the purple backpack and the purple helmet. So nice of you to note that, because of course, in a map like Storm Point, I do believe we're going to see a lot more charge rifle, but charge rifle in general is so strong. Artstar stick onto Taishin, those scars looking like they're in a lot of trouble. They don't have little to no health to work with.
Oh my gosh, the bat goes off, but it's just not gonna save them. The aggressive Fire Beavers are here, and they're trying to make their statement. Impulse, Taskmaster, and OJ just so strong in their micro fighting right now. We mentioned scrims. They were looking so good. I watched them fight around a catalyst wall, but look who's coming in. Fuse gonna throw out the mortar flare, so it's getting a little bit enticing here, and you got pop shots all over, and then even a bang ult that would make Shiv happy coming into play.
Yeah, the Rolling Thunder coming in, forcing Fire Beavers to take up the building right next to him for some safety. You saw the Fire Mortar come out as well from 9. Impulse, one of the only fuses that are still in this lobby. Love to see the impact that these different compositions bring, but the amount of space that Fuse also buys to the team with the amount of damage that the Knuckle Cluster comes in is so important. Game Ward looking on to see another squad making their rotation over here in Countdown. You can expect things to get very hot here with the circle pulling in this direction, and so many of the squads are already making their rotation away from Skyhook, away from Thermal Station, north side into this Countdown area.
Yeah, with a lot of teams taking up presence here in Countdown, it seems like it is going to pull towards that Countdown landslide area, and I'd be really excited to see. But the most part about this is when all of these teams start collapsing here at Countdown, there's only a relative amount of buildings, available spaces that are going to be able to be utilized. And if you're not playing that Watson character, you're not going to be able to really take up enough space and guard your buildings. But Fire Beavers utilizing that fuse is going to have so much fun with that tactical, just absolutely pestering all the teams with those knuckle clusters. And I can hear it now, Fuse's voice in my head going off, but they are just waiting, looming, looking for their next victim. They've got word of sight that there is someone just inside that building in front of them, but they're going to play it very patiently. And that's going to be Game Ward, who was the demise of Vexed Gaming in map number 1.
And with a very interesting comp, they're running the Bloodhound and Bangalore, something that we've been seeing together as one of those follow-up combo duos to follow up from the smoke, the scans, when the Beast of the Hunt is activated. Game Ward playing inside this building is great, but like you mentioned before, with some of these squads taking up these buildings, especially with the amount of Watson that we see, it's very detrimental in making sure that you can hold things down without getting pushed by another squad. And Game Ward doesn't have that legend in their composition. They don't even have a Caustic like what Aurora is running, so nothing to really bunker them down, so it's just gonna have to be them making sure that they can pressure out other squads from trying to bully them out of that building.
Bandits out there.
But I mean, I've seen a lot of success in NA with G2 recently. They're running a similar comp with that Bangalore Bloodhound. It's just proving so well for them. Sometimes it's not about hopping on that Watson or the Newcastle. It's all about those legends that you feel comfortable with playing. And hey, if Game Ward feels comfortable on that Bloodhound Bangalore, I'm excited to see what they can do. Fire Beavers doing a little bit of poke fighting across Countdown here, but no real intentions just yet. I feel as if you take a fight right now in Countdown with so many teams nearby, it's going to turn into an all-out bloodbath.
Starter fight also finishing off the last member of Reply Totem. So our squad that managed to make it into the top 4 in game number 1, out and eliminated. Unfortunate for them. We could see 17 squads left. That was Starter Fight that did clean up that KP, so that's great news for Starter Fight. I do think they are rotating from the southern side of this circle, exiting out of staging, where Alliance is probably situated in, since they are exiting out of that thermal station area. As we take a look at E6, overlooking the action happening in Skyhook, you can expect some squads to rotate out of Skyhook, maybe even rotating out of the tunnel, as we do know that the circle is pulling in that direction by the landslide area. Sometimes we also see that sniper tower that's north of landslide also get contested, because that could be a great spot for some teams to try to circle keep any squads that are exiting out of the Fragment West area. But E6 are going to be one of the squads taking control over this building, so that way they can negate any sort of rotation from any squad leaving Skyhook.
Yeah, they're just getting pestered by a nearby Fuse Knuckle Cluster. Couldn't imagine who that's going to be as well. Missile Swarms coming in the form of Game Ward, but they're just holding it down steady. No reason to get too crazy just yet, but if the circle does tend to pull towards that landslide area, there's already a multitude of teams looking to set up shop over there as well. Game Ward going under fire, but no real major issue yet. Thankfully, Yolu, I believe the youngest player in the Emea region, has that gold shield available to them, so you can really conserve a lot of the resources available to them.
Now, seeing the fuse, it's interesting because we had 2 fuses in the lobby. One of them was Scars, who got eliminated very early in this game. But to see the Mad Maggies and the fuse also being utilized in Emea, a lot of cuzzies out here. You know how it goes with some of those voice lines from Mad Maggie. I feel like she's bullying me every single time I have a Mad Maggie on this squad. But it's better when you see your Mad Maggie bullying these other teams here, as Game Ward are going to just sit patiently inside this building. They need to try to boost up these Evo shields, because Aimbot and Psychop are still rocking those blue Evo shields.
You do not want to go into an endgame fight near the open and landslide with blue shields. You want to make sure you've at least got triple purple or some reds if available. But that all goes to show. You got to get some of those mid-game fights. You can see aimbot right now sees some enemy Watson fences, so that's the aspect. If there's a team kind of holding that choke point right there, utilizing those Watson fences to show presence, to maybe keep people away from them. They don't have the ability to see if there's a Jenny there, so you would not imagine that you can test it out, throw some grenades that way, but you want to make sure that you hold on to your ordinances towards that end game. But let's jump on board with VZN coming out of Harvester on that snake building right there. 31 points, not able to find any early game fights just yet. But let's just say, I believe the last time I saw them on the map, they were still up by Epicenter. So the fact that they've rotated all the way down through Fragment into the chokehold from Harvester and are now surfacing on the bottom of the ring, I believe that should clear out their back, but they just have to worry about playing forward.
I actually really love this rotation from VZN, and I'm glad you highlighted it too, because you know that the choke point leaving that tunnel from Fragment West into Landslide is probably easily contested by a squad already that probably already lands Fragment West, which is not what VZN do since they leave that overlook area. Going all the way south and wrapping around towards Harvester means exactly what you mentioned. Their backs are cleared, but there's probably a squad right in front of them in that tunnel, and it is true. As you can see, VJ with the Seer and the Heartbeat Sensor picks up a squad that's already inside of that tunnel.
Yeah, Heart of Focus definitely trying to go off looking for some information, but it looks like they may just say, this isn't our fight. We want to kind of double back and rotate around. We don't want to go through that tunnel just yet. And honestly, I don't blame them. Anytime I get into a fight in that tunnel by the vault, it just turns into absolute chaos where teams from Landslide will just double down and push in on the front side as well. And if you want to take a smart fight, that's probably not going to be it. But look who's looming nearby on that rotation from VZN. It's going to be Alliance, and they're going to be a doozy to fight with.
Yeah, Alliance has been sitting in this building basically the entire time after they rotated out of Thermal Station. So them sitting control and taking control of staging is going to allow VZN to get aggressive with this fight, because they need to fight for this control. They need to fight for this space.
I think it's going to be one of the smarter ones that they take. You can see the Black Hole Ultimate going out already. Not sure if that was too early, but VJ going to throw down the exhibit, just looking for some information. I feel like they need to grab at least one knock to swore they go ahead and just push right in. You can see VJ goes in, but takes so much damage and actually falls already for Hakis.
This is the now the initiation for Alliance. They got the green light. They got the advantage after taking care of VJ. What is VZN going to do? Are they going to back out of this fight? Because if they put themselves out in the open, there's probably another squad that has the high ground overlooking staging. You see a lot of squads rotate from that south part of the map, but VZN now forced to play this as a duo. Let's see if they can get VJ's banner.
Yeah, I mean, there is a respawn beacon right nearby. They would have to make light work of Alliance, and you mentioned it, you called it perfectly. There is an ability of another team to kind of push into this, but it looks like VZN is just going to hit the skies, take to that skyward dive, and reposition themselves and not go for the banner.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get that banner. They're just going to cut their losses. They're going to take that skyward dive and wrap around, which means they're going to be flying over some squads that were holding that choke point, holding the edge of the circle, wondering where they're going to land right now with some more action happening over in Landslide.
Yeah, we've got Echo Esports getting a little crazy, but it's going to be your favorite team at the other side of it. It's going to be Aurora. They had a rather lackluster match number 1 and are looking to double down and make sure they find some success here in map number 2. They're still playing that Mad Maggie, Wraith, and Caustic, which I would expect no changes to happen with them, and they are just trying to hold that high ground. And it's more of like a poke fight. No one's really committed to this fight just yet. They're going to hold that trailer down while looking towards that RV.
And this is a different case in terms of early rotations, as an example of what we highlighted with Alliance, where that final circle is pulling towards a tunnel versus where Aurora is right now. Look at their positioning. All 3 members holding split sides. A huge grenade toss right there. Clee's not going to be able to move all the way in. Huge brace as well. E6 also get eliminated in the feed, but it's just a matter of cleaning up for Aurora from the squad that's inside this building.
I need loot.
The thing is, this is going to cause so much noise for all the teams in a nearby vicinity, but look at Maliwan right here. Going to throw out those Nox gas traps to be able to kind of garner and protect their space and send that res. I feel like if they wait too long on getting that res, it's going to be a really trialist time. Mad Maggie Ultimate going through and just trying to finish off all the people inside this RV, but you can see nearby there's a Seer looking to get some information on this fight. Clevey trying to shield up the best they can and lay down as much damage. That's going to be all they wrote for Echo Esports here, but now you've got to worry about a clean reset, get that stability regained, and focus off any team that tries to get in on this.
My goodness, what a terrible case to meet up with Aurora after getting the only squad to rock the Caustic, getting gassed out of the building. You saw the wrecking ball coming out. That squad did not have a single chance, and they didn't have to worry about the third party because the squad that is on the high ground on top of that platform doesn't want to give up that space. But there are other squads that are playing underneath that space, and that's going to be Horizon. Look at the setup that they already have with the Watson fences, just setting up the perimeter around these zip lines.
Yeah, this is a really great spot if the ring was pulling more into landslide, and it almost always couples with a team that does have the Watson. They also have a crypto, so the crypto is going to be able to fly around in their drone, find out all of the information available for them, and they can just kind of pelt people with that wingman. However, when you're running wingman massive and you've only got about 20 bullets to go for spare, this is not where you want to be. You're going to have to go ahead and bet off that someone is going to have sniper ammo throughout the entirety of this end game. There's still 14 squads left, and we are looming down the backs of the end game that is nearby.
Yeah, it is. It's 14 squads left, and this circle is going to be pulling over to the left side of landside. Aurora, with his split positioning, though, are out of the range of that wingman that you were mentioning before. With so many charge rifles, maybe we'll be able to get your hands on some sniper ammo here, as Aurora is also going to be able to loot up. Got the nice gold extended light mag from Mollywan, but he definitely needs some more light ammo to work with this R301.
See, now what I'm looking for is the fact that they have Mollywan on the caustic to really hold some presence. Sure, they're going to get pestered from nearby vicinity, but the issue is this circle, as you can see in your upper left-hand screen, is going to pull towards that bridge and out into the very open. I think there's maybe one RV available to them, and it's probably occupied by another team already. So Aurora is looking to pick up as many eliminations as they can before they have to go fight into that open vicinity.
Aurora is in such a good spot. The only thing that they have to worry about is that squad horizon that's on the high ground that has them in their line of sights, and that's going to prevent Aurora from pressuring up the squads, exiting out of the southern side of the circle. That could easily get gate kept. I know some Skyward Dives are coming in. I think Fire Beavers just went in for a repositioning with some fights happening over here. Nightmare looking to get involved from the low ground right here. I believe they're trying to wait for Vex Gaming that have the high ground.
Navi is one of our first looks at them today, and I'm really excited to see what they can do here, just gatekeeping all the teams trying to rotate out of Countdown. Beautifully well done. That's going to be all they wrote for Start a Fight Esports, and VZN also falling. Let's jump on over to Foot Esports. They are all playing together in a house in Turkey, and they've been putting so much time in through VOD review, and I'm excited to see what they have the ability to do here today. You can see trying to punch their teammate into the zone, maybe utilize that knockdown for a little bit of cover. Kahuya finding some nice shots with the 30-30 there, just looking really commanding.
We went from 14 squads to 8 squads so quick, one by one, as they fall like a line of dominoes here. LFO Forever looking to clean things up, playing around these knockdown shields. Here comes the black hole coming in. They got to delete that immediately. That's definitely not theirs. They don't have a horizon on their team. LFO Forever were in this position from the very beginning with the Watson fences, and now they can negate a lot of the damage coming in from the squads playing right behind them. That's going to be Vex now cleaning things up.
Hey, this is what we wanted. We wanted Vex to make it that long game, go the long haul, and pick up eliminations along the way. So this is their moment. They know they shine in their micro fighting, so they're looking to drop down, get aggressive, and just clean up everything in their site. You can see they've already got it down onto Light from LFO Forever, and now they're just able to kind of get a little bit more stable here. Make sure they've got plenty of ammo, bats for this end game, and utilizing this rock for cover really helps them out because they're just outside that next zone pool, and they're going to have to fight their way and play forward while also making sure that no one tries to wrap around their back.
And already looking great because in that first game, they finished things off in 16th place with no KP. Currently, Vex Gaming have been able to clean up 2 KP in favor for the entire rest of the team, and their backs are against the circle. Only thing they have to really worry about is pushing in just a little bit too far ahead. Let's jump into listening with Vex Gaming to figure out what their next plan is and see how they're going to rotate at the top of this front circle.
Yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good.
Keep looking left, they're still fighting.
Yeah.
I got right.
I need ammo, looting.
The hard fighting swing still.
Yeah,
One
we
gets close to me.
should wipe the whole side. There's dogs. You guys just keep looking.
Yeah, we can look to swing left. Yeah, 100%.
I'm pumping pad.
We are in the ghost spot.
I'm just batting right now.
They have no power to play except the trap. I got right. Don't worry about right.
Left to tell Horizon.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Nice.
One swing left. Oh, that's another guy.
Wait, okay. Another one. I think another one. Yeah. Next one. Jump. Don't.
Look left for me.
Nobody right side.
I'm gonna die to that.
No, you're fine.
Nice.
They're inting right side. Swinging left. Okay, yeah. Shoot all.
I can't. I have to tank that. I'm dead.
I'm a spec on Tyler.
Oh, they get deleted here to Vex Gaming, get annihilated. You heard them say it in the comms. We're gonna get inted on, and it was the Fuse coming in. Fusey making his appearance from Fire Beavers as they now have taken the same rock that Vex Gaming wanted to hold on to.
I think that's when the moments are like, we have to fight for this spot. It is going to be integral to our game success. You mentioned it, the Fuse coming in, the Arc Stars coming in, and they just inundated with ordnance. There was nothing they can do. Now the question is, Fire Beavers with the upper hand. You've got Horizon nestled onto a rocket. It looks like OJ might go onto Horizon himself. That they already know. They're like, hey, Nightmare Esports, we're not going to be able to go in and take that fortress. So you see all the presence from the Watson fence. So they're making their way, but they're going to get caught off from behind. But now LFO Forever going to be eliminated. So it's Nightmare Esports versus Fire Beavers here at the very end.
Yeah, that last straggler from LFO get deleted by Fire Beavers, and Fire Beavers have control over the entire side of the circle. Nightmare Esports, though, with another top 3 finish, looking to try to take control over Fire Beavers currently. It's Fire Beavers versus Nightmare Esports, and it's only up to 7 from Nightmare Esports to clutch things out.
Oh, look at that as you approach the double gold knockdown shield, looking for that enemy in your line of sight. They are going to be able to take that moment with that car SMG. Congrats to Nightmare Esports coming out on top here in map number 2.
Fire Beavers and Nightmare Esports with that